Leeds United have an absolutely huge future leader waiting in the wings to take over at the club because Liam Cooper has just had his say on leadership at Leeds United. And I'll be completely honest with you, his run is coming to a close and we will need leaders more than ever. Cooper has been a fantastic captain for the side, but over time, he's not been in the squad as much, which makes things a little bit more difficult. Thankfully, we have an absolutely fantastic future leader for the club coming through as we speak, because Liam Cooper believes that Archie Gray is Leeds United's next great leader in his own way. But I'll get into that in a little bit more detail as we go on. But if you're here, I'd hugely appreciate you liking the video and subscribing before I get into it. Cheers. Anyway, in a chat with the Yorkshire Evening Post, Liam Cooper was asked to identify some of the key leaders at Leeds United, and he went through a good amount of players and a couple that I wouldn't have quite necessarily expected at this point. So this included some major Bielsa favourites, so Stuart Dallas being behind the scenes, sort of geeing everyone up a little bit. It included Luke Ayling for the time that he was here because he was a big part of that promotion squad and everyone was really encouraged by the fact that his presence was here. And it also included some of the newer players. So one of them being Ethan Ampadu, being a consistent captain in the side after Liam Cooper's not been playing. Pascal Struijk hasn't been available because of his injuries. But one that took me by surprise was Archie Gray, with Liam Cooper saying that young Archie is leading in his own way. And I think this is really important. This is something that I'm going to get into in a lot more detail because Archie Gray has a significant importance to Leeds United. Sorry, had to do a very quick recording pause there. But Archie Gray is important for a hell of a lot of reasons. Arguably, he has been at the club the longest of anyone at Leeds United. Yes, there's an argument for Liam Cooper, considering the fact that, he's been here for 10 years, but Archie being 8, don't know the age at which he will have been a part of the Leeds United Academy, but that will have been a long time ago. And in that time, he will have just built and built and become part of the fabric of the club. And for a long time, he's been earmarked as someone that is potentially going to get into the first team squad. Remember when, I think it was 3 years ago, 15 years of age, he was added to the squad against Arsenal because we had a lot of injuries. But we were even in a position where Marcelo Bielsa was saying, I wouldn't call anyone up to the squad if I didn't think he was worthy of playing. So clearly he's got the quality to be a leader for the club. And in addition to that, he has some very, very deep links with the side. He's been on away days. People have seen him round and about, and he understands the culture of the club. He knows what it is like to be a Leeds United fan, which is something quite significant that is often missing for Leeds United players and for players of any club, to be honest with you. The fact is, a lot of players will go to clubs, not quite understand the culture of what's going on there, and struggle a little bit because of that lack of understanding. That isn't the case with Archie. And in my opinion, that's why means so much, because he's quite clearly a conduit between Thorpe Arch and the fans. He is sort of that middle ground. He knows what fans are going to be thinking. He knows what fans are going to be feeling. He's been part of those communities and likely is a part of that online community as well, which is why, in my opinion, you could see in that huddle at the end of the playoff semi-final, Liam Cooper giving his speech, with Archie Gray also stood in the middle of that huddle, being a part of it. Archie Gray, when everyone is doing their lap of the pitch, standing, taking it all in, is sort of the pipeline through which that emotion goes from the fans into the club. And what is a captain if not someone who gets players G'd up, who gets them ready for a game? That's what leadership is in football. Leadership is the ability to bring an entire side with you forwards into those struggles. And that's what I think Archie is absolutely perfect for. It's brilliant. I think he conveys absolutely everything to that squad. And in the tough moments like we've had this season, when we've had those stumbles, I think he's going to be the main person that takes in that information from the fans and goes, lads, we need to be better than this. But there is a reason that all of this matters, and it's quite simple. The first one is that the squad is pushed significantly harder as a result of all of this. If you have players that aren't pushed by that internal presence, then they're just sort of listening to nothing. They've not got that fan voice in the side. They're in that little bubble where they're just sort of sitting there, trying to get performances, but they've not got that same drive as everyone else does. And it means that everyone feels a lot more connected with the club. This includes the coaching staff. This includes the managers. This includes the because everyone within that unit is good friends with their coworker, and their coworker is saying this is hugely important, and that pushes everything up just that extra little level, which is essential. And importantly, it can help with retaining key players as well. If I'm going to drop a hypothetical here, but if you've got a case of Nonto and Somerville being best friends, picture a case in which Willie Nonto is a Leeds fan and has been a Leeds fan for his entire life. It becomes a lot harder for Crescencio Somerville to force a move away, because then he's not only sort of turning his back on the club, he's betraying one of his closest friends. And that is the sort of personal connection that you get between a football club and a fan. And that, I think, could be key, no matter what happens going forwards, to sort of building a stronger squad with a better identity and higher level of quality. But ultimately, there's a bigger question of what is Archie Gray's future. And I personally desperately hopes he stays for a very, very long time, which is going to be a Ooh, that was fun. Which is going to be a struggle if we don't get promoted in the next couple of years, because he's very clearly a Premier League quality player, maybe even right now. I don't think he'd get a move this summer. I think he'd give us another year at the very least, but we'll have to find out. And this is important because I think you rarely see a proper long-term club player anymore. A lot of players right now have become relatively mercenary. It's turned into the situation of you'll come through an academy, but then a bigger club, either abroad or one of the top six, will go, we've got a pile of money. You want to come? And then that'll tend to happen. But I think that connection that we have with Archie Gray is something that might potentially overcome that. And that's something that I desperately want to see, especially since he is a Leeds United fan. My ideal vision for him isn't he develops a little bit and eventually we can sell him off for 80 million quid, because that just takes all the emotion out of football. And I don't think there's enough of that right now. Ultimately, I want to see him become that club captain, and I want to see him become a legend for Leeds United who can stay long term, which would be spectacular. I'd love that. But at the end of the day, football is football. I can see him being a big leader for years to come if we were able to keep him, but I want to know what you think. Let me know in the comments down below. Like the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe. Could even become a channel member if you fancy. All that money right now is going towards Prostate Cancer UK, which is absolutely huge. Yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. I'll be doing a little bit more sort of build-up-y stuff to the playoff final in the next few days. I'm going to try and do a Wembley matchday vlog. I'll be doing a couple of live streams and stuff like that. So hop in, chat, get involved. Really hope to see you around. And that was a rambly outro, wasn't it? Hope you enjoyed. I will see you later. God, I love Archie Gray. He's so wholesome. What a guy. What a guy.